Hey, this is Kate from Izzalicious Designs. Today we're going to make my little nurse character. Now we have two versions of her little hat to do. We can do a simple chain which we put a pony bead on and draw a red cross, or we can make one like this. So I'm going to show you both because it's completely up to you which one you want to do, but this one is a little bit easier. So let's get started. Single loom, offset configuration, which means column 1 and 3 are going to be slightly lower than column 2. Let's make sure we're in focus. The arrow is pointing towards you, and if you don't have an arrow, it's the open part of the peg. We're going to be double banding. Double banding means you take two bands at the same time and you place them on the pegs together like this. Okay, and that gives your figure a more robust feel to it. It's not so floppy and you know, bendy. This one is a little bit more robust. So let's place our bands for the back of the hair. This is a crafty ladybug technique, which I absolutely love. I'm going to put 2 here, and I'm going to use a single one to go across here as a crossover band, and another single one to go here as a crossover band. I'm going to take a skin tone band and pop it here on the end as an end cap, like that. Now what I'm going to do is go down past that end cap and grab the black bands. Hold that end cap in place with your fingernail so that it doesn't fly off. We're going to loop up a couple. There's one side and there's the other side. Now we're going to loop 2 up in the middle here. I've just dropped one band. Let me fix that one up. There we go. 1 and 2, and then we're going to do 1 each side. 1 and 1. Now the reason we don't go all the way to the top is this is the hair. It's going to link into the face, so we're going to just leave that like that. Let's use some skin tone bands now. Again, double banding, and we're going to start in the middle here. Okay, so you skip this first peg on all of them, and we start on the second peg and move down to the third, like this. Again, we're double banding. Put 2 on the right, 2 on the left, and make sure that you have room. You need to push things down so that you've got room. If you can see things are twisted, just use your hook and run it around the inside of the band, and that usually will untwist things. I'm going to use 2 bands for the neck. I'm going to put I'm going to do this in a minute. I'm going to put a single across here as my crossover band, and then I'm going to take another single. I'm going to wrap it once, twice and 3 times. Twist it, not wrap it, and pop that here. Then when I place my eyes, now I'm using beads for my eyes. They're a 7mm by 4mm mini pony bead. If you don't have those, you can use black bands. 1 black band wrapped oh, that's handy. Wrapped once, twice, 3 times and 4 times is the equivalent of 1 bead. So you would do 2 of them, once, twice, 3 times and 4 times. And when I say to you, I'm sliding my beads onto a skin tone band, you slide your bands onto a skin tone band. It's exactly the same. Slide your beads on, or your bands, and we're placing one side here and one side here, and then you're going to split that band in the middle here and put the top part above this peg. Alright, now very important, we have 2 sets of skin tone bands here. We have the 2 for the neck and we have the 2 underneath, which is actually 1 doubled on itself. We're going to take the bottom ones and lift them above the top so that they link in there. That's connecting the back of the hair to the face, and that's a very important step. Okay, next, let's see, I'm just going to take these extra eyes off. Next we're going to do a couple of skin tone bands for her neck, like that. Now we're going to change to white. We're having her in a white uniform. Again, we're double banding. I broke a nail yesterday and it feels terribly weird trying to pick something up with no nail there. So we're going to come down 5, I believe. So 1, 2, 2, 3. And the reason I'm going 5 is because she's wearing a skirt. Normally for a torso we'd do 3, 4 and 5. Yeah, for a torso we do 4, for legs we do 4. So we're switching it up a bit because she's wearing a dress. Now, if you have a look here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then these are actually from the side. So we're coming 1 down to 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to do the side ones. Okay. Push your bands down. So go 2 from the left to the centre, 2 from the centre to the right. Again, untwist them. And now we're going to do skin tone, which is 3 pair. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2. Hey, get on there. 3. We're going to do her terribly sensible white shoes, but they're very comfy. 2 white bands, sorry. Wrap once and twice, and slide onto 2 white. Don't reclaim just yet. Take another 2 white and wrap once and twice, and now reclaim those original bands. And we're going to take 2 skin tone and slide our little shoe on here. So slide the first 2 loops, then the wrapped loops, and then the next 2 loops, and reclaim. And this is going to be her little shoe. So I'll pop that on the end of her leg here. Let's do another one the other side. 2 white, wrap once and twice, slide onto 2 white, don't reclaim, 2 white, wrap once and twice, now reclaim, and we're going to slide onto 2 skin tone, then do our wrapped bands. Now, as you can see, those other 2 are there. I want the wrapped bands next. I feel that it's less messy. Okay, so there's the wrapped, and now we'll do those 2. And angle the foot and pop on the end here. Okay, now we are going to put an end cap here, once and twice, single band wrapped around your hook like that. We're going to do some crossover bands, and we'll start here, single band going across. Now at this spot I'm going to do a single band, and I'm going to double it, loop it on itself, and bring it in here like that. And I'm going to do the same on the next one. And then at the bust line I'm just going to do a single and stretch it across. We'll do some arms, so take a single, wrap it once and twice, and slide onto a pair, another pair, and one more pair. Then we're going to do 2 pair of white for the sleeves of her uniform. And place that just here. Let's do the same for the other side. Single one, wrap twice, slide on, another pair. Let's get our third pair. And now we do 2 pair of white. There's number 1. There's number 2. And we'll pop this on here. So let's see, we have hair. Oh, she has, I did put a bun on the back of her hair actually. So we can do a messy bun. What I'm going to do is take 4 black bands and just loop it once like that. And then I'm going to take a pair like this. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I actually want it on this, I'm going to have it at the back of her head. So I'm going to lift this one up, slide this on so that it's facing to the back, and re-loop that. So her bun is going to be at the back of her head. Okay, so we have a bun, we have eyes, we have arms, we have the end cap there that we've flipped over, we have her dress, we have arms, we have legs. We're going to do a little flare to her skirt, but we're going to do that as we get to here. So let's dig down and do these little legs first. You're finding the skin tone bottom bands and looping them up, and we will stop when we get to the white skirt like that. Okay, now dig down past this end cap and grab the 2 top white bands and loop them to the side and loop to the side like this. Okay, and then we're going to loop this one up like that. Now this is where we're going to get our extra bands. We're going to take 2 white bands, and what we're going to do is just come down through these, past these 2 white skin tone bands for her legs here. And I can see one is twisted, and I'm just going to be a bit OCD about that. There we go. So grab 2 white bands and you're pulling them through like that. Okay, then we're going to take another 2 and slide through those 2, and another 2 and slide through. So you have this little extra bit happening here. We're going to loop up and we're going to attach it to this one here. Alright, so you can stretch it up if you want to, or you can hold it, whichever suits you. But now what we're going to do is dig down here, and you have to find the 2 bottom ones and loop up. Now what I'm going to do, if you have a look here, I have these on the top. Okay, so I'm going to take my hook out, reclaim these onto my hook and hold them out at an angle. Okay, and what I want to do is loop this up like so. Alright, and then I will put this back on. Now the other way of doing it, if you wanted it to all sort of merge in, you could actually put this before you, let me show you, before we loop this one in, you split this in half, so you have the two loops there, and you attach those 2 to this side. Okay, then you come down here and you loop up, and then you loop the other side, and it gives it more of a look so that it's sort of in between. It's not sort of a couple of bands stuck on the top there. And then you dig down and find those bottom 2. So I don't know if you can see that. It's sort of sandwiched in there between them. It's not just shoved on the top. It's a look that I think looks better. Let's loop up to the arms, and at the arm you're going to go down and loop to the center. Let's do this side, okay? So we can loop up this first one, dig down and find the 2 bottom bands and loop up. Now we're attaching here, if you remember, so take 2, we're going through these skin tone bands, pop your bands on your hook, take another 2, pull them through, and 1 more pair, and pull them through. Now this is where I want to put those 2 here. I'm going to hold these 2 out. I will loop up this, if I can get my hook out, there we go, and then I'm going to pop that on top like that, and then loop up. Again, you can see it's been sandwiched in between. Okay, loop up and loop up, and do the shoulder to the neck. Then we'll loop this up, dig down here and find those 2 bottom skin tone bands to loop up to the chin. Now we're looking for the 2 top ones. These are my top ones here, so I'm going to loop those to one side, and then I'll do the same on the other side. I've got to be careful here that I don't take the ones for the middle. There we go. Now we can do the middle ones. Sometimes it's easier to do the middle ones one at a time because you've got this end cap here that you want to be careful you're not looping in. Let's loop these 2 up, and we'll loop these 2. Again, we're just going for the skin tone. Now we're going for the 2 bottom black bands. One side, the other side, and the center. Let's take 2 black bands. I like to use 2 as one is an insurance policy. Pop down and out the side, and drag through to the back side of the peg and tie it off with a nice tight slip knot. Let's take this off the loom. Let's stretch it into shape. Now we're going to use this to hide at the back of her head here. So I'm pushing underneath that bun, and I'm going to grab those 2 black bands and pull them back. And I'm just going to try and hide them under the back of her hair here, between her hair and her skin. You've got this gap area here. You can hide a multitude of sins there. There's her bun at the top of her head. Now we have a few things we need to do. We need to do the cross on her shirt here. So I'm going to take a single red band, and I'm going to find the spot that I want to aim this at, and I'm going to go through here, push my hook through and grab one side, and then I'm going to find another spot and pull my band through, and I will have both of these Now you have to be careful because you don't want it to fall so far back that you can't see it, but in the same instance you don't want it to be sticking out like a sore thumb. So get both of those loops, and I'm just going to put a white band through them to stop them from falling back, okay, just like that, because I can actually pull this back to the front when I need to, okay. See, all we do is pull it back to the front so that it's more obvious. We're going to do the same going the other way, this way. So push your hook through approximately where you feel it's the center, and when I say center, I mean center for the red cross, not the center of anything else. So pull through one side and pull through the other side, and I'm going to try and make sure that coming through this side is not bleeding through on the side here. Can you see how it's bleeding through on the side? So let's, I don't think I'm going to have much of a choice. Let's try. There we go, that's a little better. Now these two loops as well, we're going to loop in with the red loops that we have at the back here. So what I always like to do is I like to take one and put one over the other, and then do the same with the next, one over the other, one over the other. Now in this case I'm not going to do one over the other, I'm going to take a single white band and I'll tie a slip knot like that. At the front here we're going to pretty this up by pulling these just to the surface a bit. Again, you don't want it so tight it's going to take a bit of messing about, but there you go. That's going to be my cross. Might not look very crossish, but that's it. This white band I'm going to sort of hide under these other white bands at the back, and I'm going to try and do it so that it disguises the where I've got the white, the red, I'm sorry, at the back of her here, so that it's, well, you are going to see it, but it makes it a tiny bit more discreet. Sort of like that. So I've kind of hidden it, but you guys will know it's still there. Okay, so now we need to do her little hat, and as I said, there's a couple of ways we can do it. The easiest way to do it is to have a pony bead, a white pony bead, and you're going to chain, you're going to do it an end cap, and you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. On the 5th one you're going to put your little bead, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So let's do, I'm going to wrap it around 3 times, and it's a single band. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 5, I'm going to put my hook on, slide that in here like that. Now what I'm going to do is, I shouldn't have taken my hook off, move that one over and then swap sides like this and pop that on like that, so it's in the middle, okay, and then we'll do the rest. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now the way we want this, we want to go through the end cap here. So I've taken the 10th one off, I'm going through the end cap, I'll reclaim my white band. I'm going to pull it through the end cap. I missed one loop. There we go. And I will tie in a little slip knot like that. Okay, now this I can draw my little red cross on just with a Sharpie. And then what I'm going to do is make sure that the bun goes under, you know, in between her hat here. Splay this out. Make sure that the white bead is at the center of her head, like so. And then with this white band, you're going to poke through. Now, I think we might be a little bit off center, but that's okay. You're going to poke through her head with your hook and grab that white tie-off band and pull it back through her head like this. I'm going to go through one side at the bottom here, grab that white band, if I can. Come here, come here. There we go. And then we go back through the next one next to it so that it's trapping it at the bottom either side here, like that. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is go back next to that, but not quite in the same spot. So I'm going to go push my hook through, make sure I'm not going in exactly the same spot, and pull it back through. Now that will kind of anchor her little hat to the front of her head a bit. I'm just going to let that go for a second. Angle the bead, pull her face into shape. So that is how you can do one hat, and then this little end here you can just pop it over her bun, really. Splay it open and pop it over her bun like that. So that's one way of doing her hat. The other way of doing her hat, and I double banded, and what I did, I made this little loop. So we have, let's count, we've got an end cap, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in double bands. So let's do an end cap first, like that, and I double banded 9 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Who would guess I took out 9 pair exactly? And this is 9. Then what you're going to do, you're going to flip this over. We want this in the middle, so take out one end, put the end cap there, reclaim, draw a single band through, and we'll tie this in a slip knot. I'm going to hide that slip knot through the center of these bands. As best you can. Okay, and now what we're going to do is build this little front bit up with one single crochet. So you're going to put the end cap at the back, move to the front, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Get both of those loops through like this. Now I'm going to go back in here with one more. And this will be where we tie off at. So how I'm going to tie this off, I'm going to turn it inside out. I'm going to grab under there and my tie off bands, and then with a single band I'm going to just do a slip knot like that. Okay, I know I'm fond of the slip knots, aren't I? And then we're going to hide that tie off band at the back here with some of these white bands, if I can ever get my hook through them. There we go, one, and we'll go through this one as well, 2, and through here. There we are. So that is going to be her little hat, like that. And again, we will do the same as we did on her chest. You'll take a red band, go through the center here, and pull it through. And at the bottom, like that. And then you're going to do the same horizontally, if we can get our hook through. Through one side and through the other side. And again, we're going to make sure that we link up. Now, I guess we could have actually used our little tie-off band that I was busy hiding to use that to link all these together. We'll see if I can undo it. I might have actually hidden it too well. There we go. So, alright, what we'll do, I'll poke my hook through all these little red loops and drag this white band through. Like that. And then I'll tie a little slip knot again with it to secure those. So there's my little red cross, and now we will really hide this white band. And you don't have to do that. I mean, you can just tie them off. If you had tied that white band off already, just use another one and hide it under everything. So there we go, there's our little hat for her. If you're wanting to place that on, you would have to take, well, you wouldn't have put this other one on, would you? Let me take this one off. So there's version number 1, which is very easy, and here's version number 2. Again, you have to splay it out. Make sure her bun goes through the center there. And place this around her head like that. So there we have our little nurse. I really hope you enjoy making her, and to all the nurses and medical staff and doctors and whatnot out there, thank you. Take care.